Hi, this is Kathy Weymouth from Tune the Temple, and we are on video 5 of our series, Personal Growth Strategy. And in video 4, I talked about some things I learned from Gretchen Rubin, who has done a lot of work with developing habits and looking at human behavior, human nature. And I hope the 4 tendencies that I talked about was really helpful to you and that you've applied some of those strategies. Okay, so today I want to give you a few other things to help you move along on this journey that you're on. You are developing personal growth transformation, or embracing a new habit, or trying something new that you hadn't done before. You want to grow, you want to transform. So let's talk about a few things that are going to help you in this video 5. So first thing I want to talk about is how to pace yourself. Okay, so when you're on a growth transformation, you really want to pursue this and have a transformation for the long haul. You don't want it to be a good start and fizzle out. So how can you pace yourself? What works good for you and your personality? So one of the things that I've done is, I've mentioned before, I'm trying to exercise more. And sometimes I'm going to the stone wall I mentioned. Other times I'm actually going up the hill, totally out of breath, up this steep hill that's right beyond this house. And I'm having to put like a target. Okay, I'm going to go to that mailbox for this first week. And I'm going to do this like 2 or 3 times, and I have it scheduled into my calendar. Okay, well then I was like, oh, well, I think I could go to the next mailbox. So I'm pacing myself. I'm trying to add a little bit more. I'm not tackling the whole hill yet. But I wanted to tell you about a story that my boyfriend and I went on a snowshoe hike up a small mountain at camp, and I found myself really getting out of breath on some of these hills. And so what I did, I started counting. I was like, okay, I'm going to do 20 steps in this deep snow. We were sinking even though we had snowshoes on. And I'm going to do 20 steps and pause and take a breath. And then the next time I was like, okay, I'm going to do 30 steps. And I was determined not to give up until we got to the top, because the view is so amazing. It's like, why do all that work and climb up for 50 minutes of snowshoe trekking and not get to the views, right? So I was pacing myself. And I just want to suggest that you try that. So you want to go the long haul. You might want to think about denying like immediate gratification for the long-term gratification of reaching your destination or your desired outcome. And I do want to remind you that we are really, we are trainable. We are able to grow, whether you're talking about something with your body, with your soul, your emotions, or with your spirit. We can flex and grow. It's so awesome. So pace yourself for the long haul. Okay. Now, the second thing I want to talk about are obstacles. All right. What are you going to do when you reach an obstacle in your course? Well, what is an obstacle? Basically, it's a barrier or some kind of stumbling block that is going to want to take you off the path or detour you for a while, to slow your progress, to discourage you. Now, I want to encourage you by saying everybody runs across stumbling blocks when they're embracing a new habit or a growth transformation. There will be things that will come along. And so you might want to think about, well, how am I going to handle these? Like, plan ahead. Sometimes you have even friends who are just sort of doubters. Well, I don't think that you're going to be able to accomplish this. You haven't been able to accomplish other new habits in the past. So that's a stumbling block. How will you handle that? Or maybe you're finding yourself getting tired in this journey. How are you going to handle the fatigue of trying to embrace something new? Because it is work in the beginning. It isn't habit yet, but it will become habit the longer that you do this. So you do have to extend some energy, and it is work. So how will you handle obstacles? Now, another thing that, I just glanced at my notes. This is a suggestion for handling obstacles. If you reward yourself periodically, or if you keep glancing at the end goal, where you're going, think about why you want to get to that goal. Why is that so important? Okay, so what is your goal? Keep sort of reminding yourself and dreaming about your goal, and that'll help you when you come across obstacles. And another thing that I'm not sure that I mentioned this, but it's always good to have a real why. Why do you want this outcome? What is your why? Think about your why. How important is this? Why is it important? How is your life going to change when this becomes more habitual or this transformation has taken hold? Why do you want this so badly? So reflect on your why when you come to an obstacle. And also another idea might be talk about with a close friend or an accountability person why this is important to you and how you're going to handle obstacles, and maybe talk to that person when the obstacles show up. Have somebody that can, someone who's actually an encourager, not a doubter, not a naysayer, but an encourager. Okay. Now I also want to talk the third thing I want to talk about is quitting. I learned from a local coach, and she had worked with many clients for a business, coaching them. And she said 100% of those clients came to a point where they wanted to quit. Okay. And they're working with a professional coach, one-on-one. All right. So I want to tell you, you will be reaching a place where you want to quit. And I want to say that is 100% normal. It doesn't mean you have to give into it, but you will probably encounter it, very likely. So here's my question. Know that you will reach a point where you want to quit. So I want to say, what strategies? It would be good to plan ahead. Plan ahead strategies for when you reach this place where you want to quit. And how will you press on? Okay. So then the fourth thing, I do want to mention another personality thing that I learned from Gretchen Rubin in her book, Better Than Before. Here's my copy of the book. Okay. And Gretchen Rubin. So one of the things I learned from Gretchen is that some people are either abstainers or moderators. And let me explain what she means by this, and let me give you strategies, because you will likely be one of these. So listen to the first one and acknowledge whether this is you or not. Abstainers are people who, when they have something, it makes them want it even more. Okay, so like you eat chocolate and you want more chocolate. You eat ice cream and you want more. You can never get enough. Okay, so, and depriving yourself is actually easier. Like, it's better for you. It takes less energy. It takes less willpower. There's less temptation if you just completely deprive yourself. So you really do better with an all or none approach, okay? But moderation for abstainers is really exhausting. Like, how much can I have? And then you feel guilty, or you have other reasons that this moderation tires you and fatigues you and causes you to have to like really think about this a lot. And then also abstainers like strict rules. Now, some abstainers can occasionally indulge, but for the most part, it's better for abstainers. Here's your suggestions. Go all or none, and give things up totally. Embrace things totally. Like, don't give you non-negotiable. Remember when I talked about my teeth flossing? It was better for me in that scenario to do kind of an abstain all or none approach. Now, I want to give you an update. Every once in a while, I can go to bed and not floss my teeth, and I'm okay. I'm back into it because I've been doing this for a while now. So every once in a while is okay for me. But in the beginning, I couldn't. I had to go all or none. And that was the only way I finally pulled that off, a habit I was trying to embrace for years and failed at so many times. Okay, so suggestions for you: go all or none, give things up totally, like remove things from the house. Like if you want to give up sweets, or you want to cut back on sweets, maybe remove them totally from the house for a while. That kind of thing, all or none. Was that you? Are you an abstainer? Or are you a moderator? Having something makes you want it less. So abstainers want it more when they have it, but moderators want it less. In other words, occasionally indulging helps you, but the thought of never having it again sends you into a panic or into rebellion. Okay. For you, a moderator, occasionally splurging prevents you feeling deprived, prevents you from obsessing. And it's really good. The suggestions for you are: don't ever go cold turkey. Don't do all or none. Don't avoid strict rules. Allow yourself occasionally to have things, then you won't be feeling deprived and you won't go wacky. When you are deprived, you can go really off the rails. Okay, so for you, it'd be better to have chocolate in the house and occasionally have a piece of chocolate. Okay, so here are my 5 questions for this video. Ready? Here we go. So these personality suggestions that I've been giving you, I talked about 3 different things so far. Are you a starter or a finisher? That was in video 1. I talked about the 4 tendencies in video 4, and abstainers and moderators. Are these helping you? Are you actually applying the strategies? Question number 2, how will you handle obstacles? Write a plan. Write something down. Question 3, make a plan for when you will want to quit. Okay? How will you handle the desire to quit? Make a plan. Write it down. And then number 4, these are things I've actually mentioned, but are you an abstainer or moderator? And how will you tweak your strategy now that you know? Okay? And then number 5, this is your last week of the first milestone goal that we set, or the first month goal. If you're doing it like a month, this is your last week. So I want you to start thinking ahead about milestone number 2, your sub goal number 2. Start thinking about your sub goal and the steps and the action steps that you're going to take, because we'll talk more about that in the next video. Okay, so it's Kathy Weymouth at tunethetemple.com. Thank you for joining me.